My wife finally answered my seventh call, out of breath. "I'm really busy. Lots of work." I heard a man laughing in the background. I said, "Your family already knows about your work. The hidden camera footage is in the chat." She went into panic immediately. But let me back up. My name is Julian Vane, and I'm a 32-year-old cybersecurity analyst who just learned that trusting your spouse in the digital age is like leaving your passwords on sticky notes. Monica Thorne, she kept her maiden name for professional reasons, is my wife of 4 years, a corporate recruiter with ice blue eyes and a smile that could sell sand in the desert. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. 3 months ago, Monica started working late. Not just late, midnight late. The workload doubled, she'd explain, her tone sharp whenever I offered to pick her up. She'd reject my FaceTime calls, sending quick texts about being in deep focus. Her phone was always face down now, and she'd developed this habit of showering immediately when she got home, claiming she felt gross from the office air conditioning. The first red flag wasn't her late nights, it was the perfume. Monica had worn the same vanilla scent for years, but suddenly she smelled like expensive florals. When I mentioned it, she claimed her coworker had spilled perfume on her during a team lunch. The second red flag was her sudden interest in upgrading her work wardrobe. The third was how she'd started pronouncing certain words differently. Schedule became schedule instead of schedule. Small things, but I noticed patterns for a living. The smart home security system I'd installed 6 months earlier was supposed to make us feel safer. Motion sensors, door cameras, and yes, a discreet camera in our home office to monitor for break-ins when we traveled. Monica had enthusiastically approved the installation, even joking about catching burglars in the act. Last Tuesday night, she claimed to be working late again. I was debugging a client's firewall when curiosity got the better of me. I accessed our home security hub remotely, expecting to see an empty house. Instead, I watched my wife and a man I didn't recognize using my desk for activities that definitely weren't work-related. The man was tall, dark-haired, wearing an expensive suit. They were laughing about something, and I caught enough audio to hear him say, "Julian's so clueless, he probably thinks you're actually working." Monica's response made me freeze. "He's useful for paying the mortgage, but God, he's boring. No ambition, no excitement, just computers and his little security games." I sat in my office chair, watching my marriage dissolve in high definition. The rational part of my brain cataloged technical details, the timestamp, the video quality, the clear audio. The emotional part felt like I'd been hit by a truck. But underneath both reactions, something cold and calculating began to form. Monica wanted to play games with digital deception? Fine. I wrote the rule book on digital security. I spent the next week gathering evidence. The man was Silas Reeve, Monica's colleague from the recruiting firm. Married, 2 kids, drove a Tesla Model S that he posted about constantly on social media. Their affair had been going on for at least 2 months, based on credit card records I legally accessed through our joint account. Hotel charges, expensive dinners, even a weekend trip to Portland that Monica had claimed was a company retreat. The beautiful irony was that Monica kept bringing Silas to our house, thinking she was being clever by avoiding paper trails at hotels. Every encounter was recorded by the system she'd helped me install. I had hours of footage, but I only needed 60 seconds of the most damning material. Monica's family was conservative, religious, and judgmental. Her parents, Robert and Linda Thorne, had never quite approved of our marriage because I wasn't ambitious enough for their daughter. Her brother Marcus was a successful lawyer who made snide comments about people who work with computers instead of people. Her sister Jennifer was a stay-at-home mom who posted Bible verses on Facebook and judged everyone who didn't meet her moral standards. They all belonged to our Family Sunday Dinner group chat, a weekly digital gathering where Monica would share carefully curated updates about our perfect marriage and her demanding but rewarding career. The group chat was Monica's pride and joy, her weekly opportunity to maintain her image as the successful daughter who had everything together. That's where I decided to detonate her life. I clipped exactly 60 seconds of the most incriminating footage. Monica and Silas on our couch, her complaining about how I never satisfied her intellectually or physically, him suggesting they should make this permanent by getting rid of their respective spouses. The audio was crystal clear, their faces unmistakable. Then I waited for the perfect moment. Monica was working late again on Friday night. I sat in my real office downtown, ostensibly finishing a security audit for a banking client, but actually preparing for what I privately called Operation Transparency. At 11:47 p.m., I called Monica's cell phone. No answer. 11:52 p.m. No answer. 11:58 p.m. No answer. I called 4 more times in succession, letting each ring go to voicemail. This was psychological warfare now. She'd see the missed calls and know I was suspicious, which would make her defensive and more likely to lie convincingly. Or so she'd think. At 12:15 a.m., she finally answered, and I could hear she'd been running or exerting herself somehow. "Julian? What's wrong? Why are you calling so much?" "Just wanted to check on you. You've been working so late lately, I was worried." "I'm really busy. Lots of work." Her breathing was still irregular. "Can we talk tomorrow?" "I'm in the middle of something important." That's when I heard it. A man's laugh in the background, followed by someone saying, "Tell him you're reviewing resumes." "Perfect." "Your family already knows about your work," I said calmly. "The hidden camera footage is in the chat." The silence that followed was so complete, I thought the call had dropped. Then Monica made a sound like she was choking. "What? What are you talking about? Julian, what?" "Check the family group chat, Monica. I think your parents will find your work ethic very interesting." I hung up and immediately opened the group chat on my laptop. I'd uploaded the video with a simple message. "Monica wanted everyone to see how hard she's been working lately. Thought you'd all be proud of her dedication. Julian." The chaos was immediate and beautiful. Linda Thorne was the first to respond. "What is this? What is this? Monica, call me right now." Robert Thorne. "I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is disgusting. How could you do this to Julian? How could you do this to our family?" Marcus. "Jesus Christ, Monica. In Julian's house? Are you insane?" Jennifer. "I'm literally sick to my stomach. The kids are sleeping in the next room and I had to see this. Delete this immediately." But I'd already changed the group chat settings, so only administrators could delete messages, and I was the only administrator. Monica's frantic attempts to remove the video were failing, and her panic was escalating with each failed attempt. My phone started ringing immediately. Monica, of course, but also her mother, her father, and her brother in rapid succession. I declined all calls and watched the group chat explode. Monica finally managed to type a message. "I can explain everything. This isn't what it looks like. Julian is having some kind of breakdown." Marcus responded, "Monica, we have eyes. We can see exactly what this is. Don't insult our intelligence." Linda. 4 years of marriage and this is how you repay a good man? I raised you better than this. Jennifer. The Bible says adultery is a sin, Monica. How are you going to explain this to God? Robert. Julian's son, I'm so sorry. We had no idea she was capable of this. That last message hit me harder than I expected. Robert Thorne calling me son and apologizing. The same man who'd spent 4 years making subtle digs about my career and income. Monica's betrayal hadn't just destroyed our marriage. It had completely inverted her family dynamics. My phone buzzed with a text from Monica. Please call me. I can explain. It's not what you think. I responded, It's exactly what I think. Your bags are packed and waiting by the front door. I've changed all the locks and security codes. Don't try to come inside. Julian, please, we need to talk about this like adults. Adults don't lie about working late while they're screwing their coworkers in their husband's house. Check your email. I'd sent her a detailed breakdown of every hotel charge, every suspicious expense, every lie I'd uncovered. The subject line was, "Your performance review, unsatisfactory." The group chat was still erupting. Monica's attempts to control the narrative were failing spectacularly. She'd tried claiming the video was fake, that I'd manipulated it somehow, but her family wasn't buying it. The audio was too clear, the details too specific. At 1:30 a.m., Monica finally admitted defeat in the group chat. Fine, yes, I made a mistake, but Julian drove me to this with his boring, predictable life. I needed someone who understood ambition. The response was swift and brutal. Marcus. A mistake? This has been going on for months, and blaming Julian? Really? Linda. Don't you dare blame your husband for your choices. He worked 2 jobs to pay for your MBA. He supported your career when you wanted to switch companies. This is how you repay loyalty? Robert. Monica, I'm ashamed to call you my daughter right now. Jennifer. I'm removing you from all our family social media. I won't have my children exposed to this behavior. I watched my wife's family disown her in real time, and I felt something I hadn't expected. Sadness. Not for Monica. She'd made her choices, but for the family that was being torn apart by her selfishness. At 2:15 a.m., I drove home to find Monica's car in the driveway and her pounding on the front door. I'd packed her belongings methodically, clothes in suitcases, personal items in boxes, everything organized and waiting on the front porch like a garage sale of a failed marriage. I didn't get out of my car. Instead, I used the intercom system I'd installed as part of our security setup. The locks have been changed, Monica. Your things are right there. I suggest you call Silas for a place to stay. She turned toward my car, her face streaked with tears and rage. Julian, please, we can work this out. It was a mistake. The only mistake was trusting you. You have 10 minutes to load your car before I call the police for trespassing. This is my house, too. Check the deed. It's in my name only. You insisted on that for tax purposes, remember? I watched her load her belongings into her Honda Civic, her movements frantic and desperate. She kept looking at my car, probably hoping I'd change my mind and come help her. I stayed put, engine running, air conditioning on, watching my marriage end in the glow of motion sensor lights. As she drove away, I finally allowed myself to feel the full weight of what had happened. 4 years of marriage, destroyed by 60 seconds of video. But Monica had destroyed it months ago with her lies and betrayal. I'd just made the destruction visible. My phone buzzed with one final text from her. You'll regret this, Julian. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of man you really are. I smiled and typed back. Feel free to show them the video evidence of what kind of woman you really are. Then I blocked her number and went inside my house now, to plan the next phase of Monica's education in consequences. Monday morning brought the professional fallout I'd been anticipating. Monica worked at Pinnacle Recruiting, a mid-sized firm that prided itself on integrity and professionalism in talent acquisition. Their employee handbook had very specific clauses about conduct that could reflect poorly on the company, especially regarding relationships between colleagues. I'd done my homework on Silas Reeve over the weekend. 34 years old, married to Amanda Reeve with 2 young children, a senior recruiting manager who'd been with Pinnacle for 6 years. His LinkedIn profile was full of posts about work-life balance and family values. His Facebook was set to private, but his Instagram wasn't. Plenty of photos with his wife and kids, captions about being blessed and family man. The beautiful irony was that Silas had signed the same employee conduct agreement that Monica had. I'd found a PDF of Pinnacle's handbook on their website, and Section 4.7 was very clear about intimate relationships between employees that could create conflicts of interest or compromise professional judgment. At 9:15 a.m., I sent an email to Pinnacle's HR department with the subject line, "Employee Conduct Violation, Video Evidence Attached." The email was professional and factual. To whom it may concern, I am writing to report a violation of your employee conduct policy by Monica Thorne and Silas Reeve. The attached video evidence shows both employees engaging in intimate behavior on company time while claiming to be working late. This behavior violates Section 4.7 of your employee handbook. I trust you will investigate this matter appropriately. Sincerely, Julian Vane. I included a carefully edited version of the home office footage, just enough to prove the affair and their mocking comments about deceiving their respective spouses, but not so explicit as to be pornographic. Professional destruction, not humiliation. By 10:30 a.m., my phone was ringing. Not Monica this time, but my friend Taylor Kim, who worked in marketing at Pinnacle and had always been friendly with both of us during company social events. "Julian, what the hell is going on? Monica's been called into HR and she's completely hysterical. She's claiming you've had some kind of mental breakdown and you're trying to destroy her career with fake videos." Taylor had always been the type to insert herself into drama, claiming she wanted to help, but really just wanting to be at the center of the story. She and Monica had become close over the past year, bonding over complaints about their respective husbands' lack of ambition. "The videos aren't fake, Taylor. Monica's been lying to everyone, including you. She's been having an affair with Silas Reeve for months." "That's impossible. Monica loves you. She talks about you all the time." "Really? What does she say?" There was a pause. "Well, she mentions that you're very stable and reliable." "That's not the same as love, Taylor. Did she ever mention working late with Silas? Maybe complain about how boring and unambitious I am?" Another pause, longer this time. "Julian, I think you're having some kind of breakdown. Monica would never—" "Taylor, I have hours of video footage of Monica and Silas in my house, in my home office, laughing about how stupid and clueless I am. I have credit card records of their hotels and dinners. I have text messages Monica sent to Silas calling me useful for paying the mortgage, but boring in every other way. Would you like me to send you the evidence?" "No, God, no. I don't want to see that." "But Julian, even if Monica made a mistake, you're destroying her entire life. Her family won't talk to her, and now her job is in jeopardy. Don't you think this is a little extreme?" "Taylor, let me ask you something. If your husband was cheating on you, lying to you every day for months, bringing his mistress into your house and mocking you behind your back, what would you do?" I'd want to work it out. Marriage is about forgiveness. Forgiveness requires remorse. Monica isn't sorry she cheated. She's sorry she got caught. There's a difference. But Julian, you're being so cold about this. So calculated. It's scary. That stung more than I expected. "Taylor, Monica made calculated decisions for months. She calculated that I was too stupid to figure it out. She calculated that she could have her affair and keep her perfect family reputation. She calculated that she could use my house for her betrayal because I trusted her completely. Every single thing she did was calculated. I'm just better at math." Taylor was quiet for a long moment. "What do you want from her, Julian? What's the end game here?" "I want her to experience the consequences of her choices. For months, Monica got to have everything: a stable marriage, a good reputation, family approval, and her exciting affair. She got to feel superior to me while I paid the bills and trusted her completely. Now, she gets to choose what's actually important to her because she can't have everything anymore. And if she chooses Silas, then she gets to explain to his wife and children why their family is being destroyed for her excitement. She gets to live with the fact that her own family is ashamed of her. She gets to build a new life based on honesty instead of lies. If that's what she wants, I won't stand in her way. Julian, I think you should talk to someone, a therapist or counselor. This level of anger isn't healthy." "I'm not angry, Taylor. Angry would be irrational. This is justice. Monica gambled with our marriage and lost. Now she's paying the consequences. After I hung up, I realized that Taylor's reaction was probably typical of how our mutual friends would respond. They'd see Monica as the victim of my cruel revenge, not as the architect of her own destruction. The narrative would be that I'd overreacted to her mistake. That afternoon, I got a call from my coworker Danny Rodriguez at the cybersecurity firm where I worked. Danny was sharp, funny, and had never liked Monica, though she'd been polite about it. "Julian, I just heard through the grapevine that you and Monica split up. Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Danny. Better than fine, actually." "Good. I never said anything because it wasn't my place. But Monica always struck me as the type who thought she was too good for everyone around her." "What happened?" I gave Danny the short version: the affair, the lies, the video evidence, the family fallout. "Holy shit, Julian, she was cheating in your house? That's next level disrespectful." The disrespect was almost worse than the cheating. The lies I could have maybe forgiven eventually. But the mockery, the way she and Silas laughed about how clueless I was, that's unforgivable. "So, what's your plan now?" "Honestly, I'm not sure. Monica's family has disowned her. She's probably going to lose her job, and her perfect reputation is destroyed. Part of me feels like that's enough." "And the other part?" "The other part remembers how she looked at me for the past 6 months. Like I was an inconvenience she had to tolerate. Like I was boring and pathetic and lucky to have her. The other part of me thinks she needs to understand that actions have consequences." "Julian, be careful. I've seen what happens when smart people decide to get revenge. You're really good at this stuff, but don't let it consume you." "I won't. But Monica spent months making me feel like I wasn't good enough for her. Now she gets to find out what her life looks like without me in it." That evening, I got a text from an unknown number. "This is Amanda Reeve, Silas's wife. We need to talk." I stared at the message for a long time before responding. "I'm sorry you're going through this, Amanda. What would you like to know?" "Everything. I want to know everything." Amanda Reeve wanted to meet in person, which surprised me. We arranged to meet at a coffee shop downtown, neutral territory where we could talk without interruption. I arrived early and chose a corner table where we'd have privacy. Amanda was smaller than I'd expected from Silas's social media photos, with short brown hair and tired eyes. She looked like she hadn't slept in days, which was probably accurate. "Thank you for meeting me," she said, sitting across from me with a large coffee. "I needed to see the person who destroyed my marriage." "I didn't destroy your marriage, Amanda. Silas did that when he decided to cheat on you." "But you're the one who exposed it. You could have handled this privately, but instead, you chose to humiliate both of them publicly." I studied her face, looking for anger or accusation, but mostly I saw exhaustion. "Amanda, how long do you think this affair was going on?" "Silas says it was just a few weeks. A moment of weakness." "It was at least 3 months, probably longer. I have credit card records, hotel receipts, and video footage spanning that time period. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was a sustained deception that involved both of them lying to their spouses every single day." Amanda's hands tightened around her coffee cup. "Show me." "Are you sure? Once you see the evidence, you can't unsee it." "I need to know the truth. Silas is telling me it was just physical, that he never had feelings for her. He's begging me to forgive him and work on our marriage, but I need to know what I'm forgiving." I pulled out my laptop and showed her a compilation I'd prepared, not the intimate footage, but the financial records, the timeline, and some of the audio where Monica and Silas discussed their feelings for each other and their plans for the future. Amanda listened to her husband talking about leaving her for Monica, about how exciting and ambitious Monica was compared to his boring wife who was content with being a mother. She heard Monica agreeing that they should both divorce their spouses and start fresh with someone who understands success, When the audio ended, Amanda was crying silently. "I'm sorry," I said. "I know this is painful." 3 months, she whispered. 3 months of him coming home and kissing me and helping the kids with homework and lying to my face every single day. The lying is the worst part, I agreed. The betrayal is devastating, but the daily deception makes you question everything you thought you knew about your life. How are you so calm about this? Aren't you angry? I was angry. Now I'm just resolved. Monica made her choices, and now she gets to live with the consequences. I'm not going to let her betrayal turn me into someone I don't recognize. Amanda was quiet for a long time, staring at her coffee. Finally, she looked up at me. What happened at Monica's job? Both she and Silas were fired for violating the company's conduct policy. Apparently, having an affair while claiming to work late reflects poorly on the company's integrity standards. Good. Silas came home talking about how it was all your fault, how you'd ruined his career over a personal matter. Like cheating on his wife was just a hobby that shouldn't affect his professional life. What are you going to do, Amanda? I'm filing for divorce. I've already talked to a lawyer. The kids and I deserve better than this. She paused. What about you and Monica? Monica burned every bridge we had. Her family won't speak to her. She's lost her job, and she's destroyed her reputation. If she wants to be with Silas, she's free to build a new life with him, but she won't be building it on the foundation of lies and deception anymore. Are you filing for divorce too? Yes. Monica made it clear that she doesn't respect me or our marriage. I'm not going to fight for someone who thinks I'm beneath her. Amanda nodded. Silas keeps saying he made a mistake, but you don't accidentally have a 3-month affair. You don't accidentally mock your spouse to your lover. You don't accidentally plan to leave your family. These weren't mistakes. These were choices. Exactly, and now they get to live with different choices. As Amanda and I talked, I realized that Monica's betrayal had created ripple effects far beyond our marriage. Amanda's children would grow up in a broken home. Silas's career was destroyed. Monica's relationship with her family might never recover. The collateral damage was extensive, but none of it was my fault. Monica and Silas had made their choices without considering the consequences for anyone else. That evening, I got a call from Marcus, Monica's lawyer brother. Julian, I owe you an apology. I never thought Monica was capable of something like this. Thank you, Marcus. That means a lot. I also want you to know that the family supports you completely. What Monica did was unforgivable, and the way she's trying to blame you for her choices is disgusting. How is she handling everything? Not well. She's staying with a friend because she can't afford a hotel long-term without her job. She keeps calling Mom and Dad, begging them to forgive her, but they're not ready for that conversation. And Silas? From what I hear, his wife kicked him out and he's living in his car. Apparently, he thought Monica would take him in, but she doesn't have anywhere to take him. The irony was almost funny. Monica and Silas had planned to build a life together, but neither of them had considered the practical realities of what that would look like. They'd been so focused on the excitement of their affair that they'd forgotten they would need jobs, housing, and money to sustain a real relationship. Marcus, I want you to know that I don't take any pleasure in seeing your family torn apart. I just couldn't continue living a lie. Julian, you did the right thing. Monica needed to face consequences for her actions. Maybe this will be a wake-up call for her. Maybe, but I won't be around to find out. Are you filing for divorce? Yes. I've already talked to a lawyer. Monica made it clear that she doesn't want to be married to me, so I'm going to give her what she wants. For what it's worth, I think you're handling this with a lot more grace than Monica deserves. After Marcus hung up, I sat in my quiet house and reflected on how quickly everything had changed. A week ago, I'd been married to someone I thought I knew. Now I was single, my wife was unemployed and homeless, and her entire life had imploded. But I didn't feel guilty. Monica had gambled with our marriage and lost. She'd chosen excitement over stability, lies over honesty, and selfishness over commitment. Now she got to live with those choices. My phone buzzed with a text from Taylor. "Monica is really struggling, Julian. She's staying on my couch and crying constantly. Don't you think you've punished her enough?" I typed back, "I haven't punished Monica at all, Taylor. I've just stopped protecting her from the consequences of her own actions. There's a difference. But she's lost everything. Her job, her family, her home. How is that not punishment? Those are the natural results of her choices. Monica chose to lie to her family, violate her employment contract, and destroy her marriage. I didn't make those choices for her. You could have handled this privately. You didn't have to humiliate her publicly." Taylor, Monica humiliated herself. I just made her actions visible. If she's ashamed of what she did, maybe she shouldn't have done it. You're being cruel, Julian. This isn't the man I thought you were. You're right. The man you thought I was would have quietly accepted Monica's betrayal and tried to work things out, while she continued lying to me. I'm not that man anymore. Taylor didn't respond, and I realized I'd probably lost another friend. But I was learning that some friendships weren't worth keeping if they required me to accept disrespect and betrayal. 2 weeks after the initial explosion, I was having dinner at Murphy's Pub, a local bar where I'd become a regular since Monica left. The bartender, Dave, was a good listener, and the atmosphere was comfortable without being depressing. I was halfway through a burger when Taylor walked in with two people I recognized but hadn't expected to see, Monica and Silas. They'd clearly been drinking before they arrived. Monica's eyes were red and puffy, her hair was unwashed, and she was wearing clothes that looked like she'd slept in them. Silas looked even worse, unshaven, wrinkled shirt, and the kind of desperate anger that comes from watching your life fall apart. They spotted me immediately and made a beeline for my table. Dave, behind the bar, noticed the tension and started moving closer. "Julian," Monica said, her voice loud enough that other patrons turned to look. "We need to talk." "No, we don't. We're divorced, Monica. We have nothing to discuss." "You destroyed my life," she shouted, swaying slightly. "You ruined everything I worked for." "You destroyed your own life when you decided to cheat on me in our house and lie about it for months." Silas stepped forward, trying to look intimidating despite his disheveled appearance. "You had no right to send that video to our employer. That was private." "Private? You were in my house using my furniture, mocking me while you violated my marriage. Nothing about that was private." "You're a vindictive little man," Silas continued. "You couldn't handle that Monica needed more than you could give her, so you decided to destroy both of us." I stood up slowly, and I was pleased to see that I was taller than Silas by several inches. "Silas, you're a middle-aged man who threw away his marriage and children for a few months of excitement. You're living in your car because your wife rightfully kicked you out, and you're unemployed because you violated your employment contract. I didn't do any of that to you. You did it to yourself. You sent that video to Amanda. You destroyed my family." "Your family was already destroyed the moment you decided to cheat. Amanda just found out about it." Monica grabbed my arm. "Julian, please. I know I made mistakes, but you've taken everything from me. My family won't talk to me, I can't find a job, and I'm sleeping on couches. Don't you think I've suffered enough?" I looked down at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. "Monica, you didn't make mistakes. You made choices. For months, you chose to lie to me every single day. You chose to bring your lover into our house. You chose to mock me behind my back. You chose to plan a future with Silas while pretending to be my loving wife. Those weren't mistakes. Those were deliberate decisions. But I never meant for things to go this far. You meant to have your affair and keep your perfect reputation. You meant to have your excitement with Silas and your security with me. You meant to have everything without consequences. Well, now you know that actions have consequences. Taylor, who had been watching this exchange with growing discomfort, finally spoke up. Julian, Monica realizes she was wrong. She's learned her lesson. Can't you find it in your heart to forgive her? Taylor, forgiveness isn't the same as enabling. Monica isn't sorry she cheated. She's sorry she got caught. If I hadn't discovered the affair, she'd still be lying to me right now. That's not true, Monica protested. I was going to tell you eventually. When? After you and Silas had your exit strategy planned? After you'd figured out how to leave me without losing your family's approval or your financial security? Monica's face crumpled. I loved you, Julian. I still love you. No, Monica. You loved what I provided for you. You loved having someone to pay the bills while you pursued your excitement elsewhere. You loved having a stable backup plan while you took risks with Silas. That's not love, that's convenience. Silas, who had been growing more agitated during this exchange, suddenly shoved me. You self-righteous bastard, you think you're so much better than everyone else. The shove wasn't hard enough to knock me down, but it was enough to cross a line. Dave was already moving around the bar, but I held up a hand to stop him. Silas, I said calmly, you're drunk, unemployed, and homeless. Your wife is divorcing you. Your children will grow up knowing their father is a cheater, and your career is over. I didn't do any of that to you. You did it to yourself when you decided that a few months of excitement were worth destroying your entire life. I'll sue you for defamation, for invasion of privacy, for what? Showing people video evidence of your actual behavior? Good luck with that lawsuit, Silas. I'm sure you can afford excellent legal representation with all that unemployment money. Silas raised his hand as if to hit me, but Dave's voice cut through the tension. That's enough! All of you out of my bar right now! I'm not done eating, I said calmly, sitting back down. Not you, Julian. You're fine. But these three need to leave before I call the police. Monica looked around the bar, suddenly aware that everyone was staring at her. The public humiliation was complete. She was being thrown out of a local establishment for causing a drunken scene with her unemployed lover while harassing her ex-husband. This isn't over, Julian, she said, as Taylor pulled her toward the door. Yes, it is, I replied. It's been over since the moment you decided I wasn't good enough for you. Now you get to find out what your life looks like without me in it. As they left, I heard Monica crying and Silas cursing under his breath. Taylor looked back at me once with an expression I couldn't read. Disappointment, maybe, or recognition that she'd chosen the wrong side. Dave brought me a fresh beer without being asked. Friend of yours? Ex-wife and her lover. They're not handling the divorce well. I gathered that. You okay? I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. And I was. Seeing Monica and Silas together, drunk and desperate and blaming everyone but themselves for their situation, had confirmed that I'd made the right choice. They deserved each other. My phone buzzed with a text from Amanda Reeve. Heard about the scene at Murphy's. Are you okay? I typed back, I'm fine. How are you and the kids doing? Better every day. The divorce will be final next month, and I'm starting a new job next week. Thank you for showing me the truth about Silas. I deserved better than living a lie. Yes, you did. Good luck with everything, Amanda. As I finished my dinner, I reflected on how much my life had changed in just a few weeks. I was single, but I was free. I was alone, but I wasn't lonely. Most importantly, I was living honestly for the first time in months. Monica had taught me an important lesson. Sometimes the person you think you know best is the person you don't know at all. But I'd taught her a lesson too. Actions have consequences, and you can't build a life on lies and deception. My phone rang. It was Marcus, Monica's brother. Julian, I heard about what happened at Murphy's tonight. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. It's fine, Marcus. Monica and Silas are angry that their actions had consequences. That's not my problem anymore. Monica called my parents afterward, crying and begging them to talk to you, to convince you to take her back. And what did they say? Dad told her that she made her bed and now she has to lie in it. Mom said that if she wanted to be married to you, she shouldn't have cheated on you with a married man. They're not going to help her fix what she broke. I appreciate their support, but even if they asked me to take Monica back, I wouldn't. She showed me who she really is, and I believe her. Good. You deserve better than someone who would betray you like that. After Marcus hung up, I sat in the quiet bar, nursing my beer and thinking about the future. For the first time in months, I felt optimistic. Monica's betrayal had hurt, but it had also freed me from a marriage built on lies. Now I could build a life based on honesty and self-respect. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from an unknown number. "You won, Julian. I hope you're happy." I recognized Monica's writing style. She'd probably gotten a new phone number since I'd blocked her old one. I typed back, "This was never about winning or losing, Monica. This was about truth and consequences. You chose lies and betrayal. Now you get to live with the results." Then I blocked the new number and ordered another beer. Tomorrow, I'd start building my new life. Tonight, I was going to celebrate my freedom. 6 months later, I was sitting in my favorite coffee shop, reading the local business journal, when I saw a familiar name in the employment section. Monica Thorne had been hired as a junior recruiter at a small staffing agency across town, a significant step down from her previous position at Pinnacle, but employment nonetheless. I felt a moment of something that might have been satisfaction, but it was quickly replaced by indifference. Monica's life was no longer my concern. My own life had improved dramatically. I'd been promoted to senior cybersecurity analyst at my firm, partly because my work had always been excellent, but also because I'd demonstrated remarkable composure under personal stress. My boss, Jennifer Walsh, had been impressed by how I'd handled my divorce without letting it affect my professional performance. "Most people fall apart when their personal life explodes," she'd told me during my performance review. "You got more focused and productive. That's the kind of resilience we value in leadership positions." The promotion came with a substantial raise, a better office, and the respect of my colleagues. Danny had been right when she said I was good at this stuff. I just hadn't realized how good until I'd been forced to prove it. I'd also started dating again, nothing serious yet, but I was meeting interesting women who appreciated honesty and stability. It was refreshing to have conversations with people who didn't view my career as boring or my personality as insufficient. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. "Saw the news about your promotion in the business journal. Congratulations. Well deserved." I smiled and typed back, "Thank you. How's your family doing?" "Good. Mom and Dad ask about you sometimes. They still consider you part of the family despite everything. That means a lot. Give them my regards." "Will do. By the way, Monica's been asking the family to reach out to you. She wants to make amends now that she's got her life back together." I paused before responding. "Marcus, I appreciate you telling me, but I'm not interested in rekindling any kind of relationship with Monica. She made her choices, and I've moved on with my life." "I figured as much, but I wanted to give you a heads up in case she tries to contact you directly." "Thanks for the warning." That evening, as if summoned by Marcus's text, Monica called me from yet another new number. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Julian, please don't hang up. I just want to talk." "We have nothing to discuss, Monica. I saw the news about your promotion. Congratulations. You always deserved recognition for your work." "Thank you. Was there something specific you wanted, or are you just calling to make small talk?" "I wanted to apologize. Really apologize, not just for getting caught, but for what I did to you. To us." I was quiet for a moment, surprised by what sounded like genuine remorse. "Okay, I'm listening. I've been going to therapy since the divorce. I've learned a lot about myself, about why I made the choices I did. I was selfish and cruel, and I took you for granted. You were a good husband, and I threw that away for excitement and ego." "Monica, I appreciate the apology, but it doesn't change anything. We're divorced. We've both moved on with our lives. I know we can't go back, Julian. I just needed you to know that I understand now how badly I hurt you. And I needed to tell you that you were right to expose what I did. I needed to face consequences for my actions. This was not the conversation I'd expected to have. What happened to Silas? He moved to another state after his divorce was finalized. We tried to make it work for a few weeks after everything fell apart, but it turns out we didn't actually like each other very much when we weren't sneaking around. The excitement was all we had in common. I'm sorry it didn't work out. And surprisingly, I meant it. No, you're not. And you shouldn't be. We destroyed 2 marriages and hurt a lot of people for something that wasn't even real. We deserved to fail. Monica, I'm glad you're getting help and taking responsibility for your actions. But I need you to understand that this conversation doesn't lead to reconciliation or friendship. I've built a good life without you, and I intend to keep it that way. I understand. I miss talking to you. You were always the smartest person I knew, and I was too stupid to appreciate it. You weren't stupid, Monica. You were selfish. There's a difference. Maybe. Julian, can I ask you something? What? Are you happy? Really happy? Not just successful? I considered the question seriously. Yes, I am. I'm happier than I've been in years. I'm living honestly, I'm respected at work, and I'm building relationships with people who value the same things I do. I'm not looking over my shoulder wondering if I'm being lied to or betrayed. Good. You deserve that. You always did. Monica, I hope you find happiness too. Real happiness, based on honesty and treating people with respect. Thank you, Julian. That means more than you know. After she hung up, I sat in my quiet house and reflected on how much both of our lives had changed. Monica had lost everything she thought was important, her job, her family's approval, her perfect reputation, and had been forced to rebuild from nothing. The experience had apparently taught her something about consequences and accountability. But it was too late for us. Trust, once broken so completely, couldn't be repaired. Monica had shown me who she was when she thought there would be no consequences for her actions. I believed that version of her more than this reformed version. My phone rang again. This time it was Amanda Reeve. Julian, I hope you don't mind me calling. I wanted to update you on how things are going. Of course, Amanda. How are you and the kids? We're doing really well. The divorce settlement was fair. I love my new job. And the kids are adjusting better than I expected. They're actually happier now that the tension in the house is gone. I'm glad to hear that. You all deserved better than what Silas put you through. That's actually why I'm calling. I wanted to thank you again for showing me the truth. I know it was a difficult decision, and I know some people criticized you for how you handled it, but you saved me from wasting more years of my life on a lie. You don't need to thank me, Amanda. You would have figured it out eventually. Maybe, but by then I might have wasted years trying to save a marriage that was already over. You gave me the information I needed to make an informed decision about my life. How are the kids handling everything? They're resilient. They know their father made bad choices, but they also know that sometimes adults have to make difficult decisions to protect their families. They're proud of me for being strong enough to start over. That's a good lesson for them to learn. Julian, can I ask you something personal? Sure. Do you ever regret how you handled everything? The public exposure, the family group chat, sending the video to your employers? I thought about it carefully. No, I don't regret it. Monica and Silas made their choices in private, but those choices affected other people. You had a right to know what your husband was doing. Monica's family had a right to know why their daughter was lying to them. And both of your employers had a right to know that their employees were violating conduct policies. The truth needed to come out, even knowing how much damage it would cause. Amanda, the damage was already done when Monica and Silas decided to have their affair. I just made it visible. They gambled that they could keep their deception hidden indefinitely, and they lost. That's not my fault or my responsibility. You're right. I just wanted to hear you say it, because some people have told me that you were too harsh, that you should have handled it privately. Those people probably think that being betrayed should be handled quietly and discreetly, so as not to embarrass the people who did the betraying. I disagree. Actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences are public and humiliating. That's the risk you take when you choose to deceive people. I agree completely. Thank you for having the courage to tell the truth, even when it was difficult. After Amanda hung up, I realized that this conversation had given me something I hadn't known I needed: validation that I'd made the right choice. For months, I'd been second-guessing myself, wondering if I'd been too harsh or too calculated in my response to Monica's betrayal. But Amanda was right. I'd simply told the truth about what Monica and Silas had done. The consequences they'd faced were the natural result of their own actions, not my revenge. I'd given people information they deserved to have, and they'd made their own decisions about how to respond. Monica had gambled that she could have her affair without consequences, and she'd lost. Silas had gambled that he could destroy his family for excitement without losing everything, and he'd lost. I'd simply made sure that their losses were proportional to their choices. As I got ready for bed that night, I felt something I hadn't experienced in a long time: complete peace with my decisions. Monica's apology had been nice to hear, but it hadn't changed anything fundamental. I'd built a good life based on honesty and self-respect, and I intended to keep it that way. My phone buzzed with one final text of the day from Danny. "Saw your promotion announcement. Drinks tomorrow to celebrate?" I smiled and typed back, "Absolutely. I have a lot to celebrate." And I did. I'd survived betrayal, divorce, and the complete destruction of the life I'd thought I was building. But I'd emerged stronger, more confident, and more successful than I'd ever been. Monica had tried to destroy me with her lies and betrayal, but instead, she'd freed me to become the person I was meant to be. Justice wasn't always dramatic or violent. Sometimes it was simply allowing people to experience the natural consequences of their choices. Monica had chosen lies, betrayal, and selfishness. Now she got to live with the results of those choices for the rest of her life. And I got to live with the results of my choice to demand honesty and respect. I knew which life I preferred.